The Galactic Council chamber floated in the void between stars, a massive structure built from crystallized light and compressed dark matter. Inside, representatives from 47 different species sat in their designated atmospheric pods, each one maintaining the specific environment their biology required. Some breathed methane, others swam in pressurized acid, and a few existed as pure energy held together by magnetic fields. Ambassador Jakara of the Valnari Collective stood at the central podium, her forearms spread wide in what her species considered a gesture of urgent concern. Her skin shifted through colors of distress, deep purples and anxious oranges rippling across her chitinous frame. "Honored council members," she began, her voice translated instantly into 47 different forms of communication. "We face an unprecedented situation. The death world known as Earth has achieved faster-than-light capability." A wave of concern swept through the chamber. Several species made sounds of alarm. The Quintari delegate, a being that resembled a floating jellyfish made of starlight, pulsed with worry. The insectoid Kresh representative clicked his mandibles together nervously. "How is this possible?" demanded Council Prime Rixtal, a towering crystalline being who had led the Council for 3,000 cycles. "Earth was marked as a quarantine world, Class 12 Death World. The radiation from its star alone should have prevented complex life from developing cognition." Zakara's colors deepened. "Yet they have. And Council Prime, it is worse than we feared. Much worse." She activated the holographic display. An image of Earth appeared, rotating slowly. It looked beautiful from space. Swirls of white clouds over blue oceans and green-brown landmasses. But to every species in that room, it was a nightmare made manifest. "Gravity 1.2 times standard," Jakara recited. "Atmospheric oxygen content at toxic levels. Surface radiation from an unstable G-type star. Tectonic activity that reshapes entire continents. Weather systems that generate winds capable of destroying structures. And the native life." She paused, letting the weight of her words sink in. "The native life has evolved to thrive in these conditions." The Quintari delegates' light dimmed with fear. "Surely you don't mean the apex species, the ones who built the FDL drive?" "I do. They called themselves humans." Zishara brought up another image. A human male stood in the display, wearing what appeared to be primitive fabric coverings. To the council members, he looked like something from their worst evolutionary nightmares. "By the void," whispered a Peltharian observer, her tentacles curling in instinctive defense. "It's a pursuit predator." "Correct," Jakara confirmed. Forward-facing eyes for tracking prey. Persistence hunter biology. They can run for hours without stopping. Their limbs end in grasping appendages with opposable digits. They have exposed calcium deposits they call teeth, designed for tearing flesh. "This cannot be the species that developed FTL," Council Prime Rixtal said. "Perhaps they enslaved a more advanced species?" "No. They are the builders, the thinkers, the creators." Jankara changed the display to show human cities, massive structures of metal and glass reaching toward the sky. They have covered their planet in constructed habitats. They have split the atom. They have ventured to their satellite and returned. And now they have broken the light barrier. The chamber erupted in panicked communication. Species that had never agreed on anything suddenly united in fear. "We must contain them! Destroy their capability! Quarantine the system permanently!" Council Prime Rixtal raised one crystalline appendage and silence fell. "Violence is not the council way. We have maintained peace for 10,000 cycles. We will not break it now." He turned to Jakara. "What do your analysts recommend?" "Integration," she said simply. "The Valnari Collective believes our only option is to bring Earth into the galactic community under our protection. We offer them our defensive pacts, our trade agreements, our technology. In exchange, we monitor them, guide them, ensure they never become a threat. You want to invite a Death World species into the Council?" The Kresh delegate's antennae quivered with disbelief. "I want to ensure they don't develop weapons technology without oversight," Zakara replied. "Right now, they are curious, naive. They have sent out broadcasts inviting contact. They want to meet us. If we approach them with friendship, offer protection, they will accept the Council's gentle guidance." "And if they refuse?" asked the Quintari. "Why would they?" Jakara's colors shifted to confident blues. They are a young species on a dangerous world. When we offer to defend them, to share our advanced knowledge, to bring them into a galaxy of peace and prosperity, they will eagerly accept. Council Prime Rikstar considered this for a long moment. Finally, he nodded. Very well. The Valnari Collective will make first contact. You will extend our offer of protection and guidance. Report back when they have accepted. It will be done, Council Prime. 3 weeks later, the Valnari diplomatic vessel emerged from FTL at the edge of Earth's solar system. Jakara stood on the bridge, watching the yellow star grow larger in the viewport. Around her, the ship's crew worked with nervous efficiency. Begin broadcasting the standard greeting on all frequencies, she ordered. Maintain defensive shields. I want weapons powered but not armed. Ambassador, our weapons are rated Class 7, her security chief reminded her. Against a species that has barely achieved FTL, they could destroy the entire planet, which is precisely why they remain inactive. We are here to protect humanity, not threaten them. The communication officer, a young Valnari named Pixstar, looked up from his station. Ambassador, we're receiving a response. It's chaotic. Multiple sources, different languages. They're very excited. Zakara allowed herself a small color shift of satisfaction. As expected. Narrow the response to their governmental authorities. We should speak to whoever leads their species. That's complicated, Ambassador. They don't appear to have a unified government. Multiple nation-states. However, there's an organization called the United Nations that seems to speak for all of them. Establishing connection now. The view screen flickered, and suddenly Jokara was looking at a human. She fought down her instinctive fear response. The creature sat behind a wooden desk, wearing formal coverings. Despite everything she knew about humans intellectually, seeing one move and breathe sent primitive warnings through her nervous system. The human smiled, showing teeth. Jankara's colors paled. Greetings, the human said through the translation system. I am Secretary General Sarah Chen of the United Nations. On behalf of humanity, welcome to Earth's solar system. This is an historic moment. Jakara composed herself. Greetings, Secretary General Chen. I am Ambassador Jankara of the Valnari Collective, representing the Galactic Council of Civilized Worlds. I come with an offer of peace and partnership. We're honored, Chen replied. Humanity has dreamed of this moment for generations. We know. We have monitored your broadcasts. Your curiosity about the universe is admirable. Jakara chose her words carefully. The Galactic Council wishes to extend an invitation to humanity. We would like to bring Earth into our community. We offer protection, trade, and knowledge. Protection? Chen's expression changed slightly. From what? Jakara blinked, her colors shifting to confused yellows. I'm sorry? You said you offer protection. I'm asking, protection from what? This wasn't going according to the carefully planned script. Jakara glanced at her advisors, who looked equally confused. From the dangers of the galaxy, of course. Space is vast and filled with hazards. Hostile species, radiation storms, dark matter fluctuations. The Council maintains peace and security for all member worlds. That's very kind, Chen said, but we've been sending probes throughout our solar system for decades. We haven't encountered any hostile species. Are there immediate threats we should know about? No immediate threats, Jakara admitted. The galaxy is dangerous. It is better to have the Council's protection before such threats arise. I see. Chen folded her hands on the desk. And what would this protection cost us? Cost? Jakara's colors swirled with uncertainty. There is no cost. The Council offers this freely. All we ask is that Earth accepts Council oversight on certain technologies, weapons development, AI research, genetic manipulation, standard safety protocols.
Oversight.
Chen repeated the word carefully. So you would monitor what technologies we develop?
For your own safety, yes.
Some technologies are too dangerous for emerging species. The Council has 10,000 cycles of experience. We would guide you, protect you from making catastrophic mistakes. Chen leaned back in her chair. Ambassador Jakara, help me understand something. You're offering to protect Earth from unspecified dangers in exchange for controlling our technological development?
Not controlling.
Guiding. What happens if we decline this offer? Zakara's colors shifted rapidly. She hadn't prepared for this question. Decline, but why would you decline? We are offering you access to technology that could solve your resource problems, cure your diseases, extend your lifespans. In exchange for our sovereignty over our own development, Chen said quietly. It's not like that, Jakara protested. A council cares about all species. We want to help humanity reach its potential. I appreciate that, Ambassador, truly. But you still haven't told me what you're protecting us from. The galaxy is dangerous. How dangerous? Have there been wars? Not for 6,000 cycles. The Council has maintained perfect peace. So, there are no current hostile species? Well, no, but no pirate factions? No aggressive empires? The Council would not tolerate such things. Then what exactly are we being protected from? Zakara's colors had gone completely pale with confusion. This conversation had derailed entirely. Secretary General Chen, perhaps I'm not explaining this correctly. Your world is classified as Class 12. Do you understand what that means? We looked up your classification system from your initial broadcasts, Chen replied. Class 12 means high gravity, toxic oxygen atmosphere, intense stellar radiation, and dangerous native life. Exactly! Earth is one of the most hostile environments in the known galaxy. Your species has evolved in conditions that would kill most galactic citizens within minutes. Don't you want protection from?
Chen held up a hand.
Ambassador, forgive me for interrupting, but I think there's been a fundamental misunderstanding. Earth isn't hostile to us. It's our home. We evolved here. The gravity is normal. The oxygen is what we breathe. The radiation is what gives us vitamin D. And the native life. She smiled again, showing those predator teeth. We're the apex species. We're at the top of the food chain. Jakara felt her entire worldview tilting. But surely you understand how dangerous your world is? The earthquakes, the hurricanes, the volcanoes. We've learned to predict them, prepare for them, rebuild after them. They're natural phenomena, not existential threats. Your species fights each other. We've monitored your conflicts, and we're working on that. We've made progress. We have the United Nations, specifically to prevent wars. It's not perfect, but it's better than it used to be. Diseases, predators, venomous creatures. We have medicine, we have vaccines. We've eradicated several diseases entirely. As for predators, Chen's expression became almost amused. Ambassador, we are the predators. Every other species on Earth is either afraid of us or has learned to live alongside us. I don't understand. You're describing your world as if it's normal. Safe. It is normal. To us. Ambassador Jankara, I'm looking at the specifications for your ship. You maintain an internal environment of 0.7 gravity, nitrogen methane atmosphere, and half the radiation we consider standard. From our perspective, you're the fragile ones. But where? Jakara couldn't find words. Chen's expression softened. I don't mean to be rude, Ambassador. I'm genuinely grateful for your offer. But I think we need to understand each other better before we discuss protection. Perhaps you could help me understand what dangers you face? What threats does the Galactic Council protect its members from? From dangers? Yes. What are you protecting yourselves from? And in that moment, Jakara realized the terrible truth. The Council had spent 10,000 cycles building defensive pacts, sharing security protocols, maintaining constant vigilance, but it had been 6,000 cycles since the last war. The pirates had been eliminated millennia ago. The dangerous regions of space had been mapped and avoided. The Council had been protecting its members from threats that no longer existed. Meanwhile, humanity had spent their entire existence fighting for survival on a world that would kill most galactic species within hours. I need to consult with the Council, Shakara said weakly. Of course, Chen replied. Take all the time you need. And Ambassador, when you're ready to talk again, perhaps we can discuss what humanity might offer the Council. We've gotten very good at surviving dangerous situations. Jakara stood in silence, her colors cycling through every shade of confusion and fear her species could produce. Her security chief approached carefully. Ambassador? Should we return to Council space? Yes, she whispered, and we're going to need to completely rewrite our first contact protocols. Why, Ambassador? Jakara turned to look at Earth through the viewport. That beautiful blue marble that was actually a death world wearing a disguise. Because we just offered to protect the apex predators of the galaxy. she said. And they want to know what we're afraid of. The emergency session of the Galactic Council had been ongoing for 6 hours. Ambassador Jacquera stood at the central podium, her colors shifting through uncomfortable patterns as she fielded questions from increasingly agitated council members. "Let me understand this correctly," the crash delegate said, his mandibles clicking with agitation. "You offered humanity protection, and they asked what you were protecting them from?" "That is correct. And when you explained about the dangers of space, they pointed out that we haven't had any actual dangers in 6,000 cycles?" "Also correct. By the ancestors, they saw through us in one conversation." Council Prime Riksdal's crystalline form pulsed with thought. "Ambassador Jacquera, your report suggests that humanity doesn't view Earth as dangerous. Is this accurate?"
They view it as normal, Council Prime.
"Everything we consider lethal, they consider standard. The gravity that would crush most of us is what their bodies developed in. The oxygen that would poison our systems is what they breathe. They have evolved to thrive in conditions that exist nowhere else in known space." "Impossible," declared the Paltharian observer. "No species can truly adapt to Class 12 conditions. They must use technology to survive." "That's what I thought too," Jacquera admitted. "So I did additional research. Council members, humans don't use environment suits on their planet. They walk around in their natural state, exposed to everything. Their cities are open to the atmosphere. They have gatherings in direct sunlight that would give most of us radiation poisoning in minutes." The Quentari delegate dimmed with concern. "What are their natural defenses? That's the truly disturbing part." Jacquera brought up a holographic display of human anatomy. "Their skin regenerates constantly. They have an internal temperature regulation system that allows them to function in extreme heat and cold. Their bones are reinforced with calcium deposits that make them incredibly strong for their size. And their immune system," she paused, making sure she had everyone's attention. "Their immune system actively fights off invasive organisms. They produce specialized cells that hunt down and destroy pathogens. Most species rely on symbiotic relationships with microorganisms. Humans wage constant biological warfare inside their own bodies." "That's horrifying," someone whispered. "It gets worse," Jacquera continued. "They consume organic matter from other species on their planet. Not synthesized nutrients, actual flesh and plant matter. Their digestive system can break down an incredible variety of materials. They have acids in their stomachs that would dissolve most of our ship components." Council Prime Rikstal stood silent for a long moment. "What do you recommend, Ambassador?" "Honestly, our entire First Contact protocol is built around the assumption that we are the advanced civilization offering help to primitive species. But humanity doesn't see themselves as primitive. They don't think they need our protection." "Then what did they want?" asked the Kresh delegate. "They want to meet us, learn from us, share knowledge." Secretary General Chen suggested that humanity might have things to offer the Council. "Like what? Better ways to survive in toxic environments?" The Paltharian's tentacles curled sarcastically. "Maybe," Jacquera said quietly. That sobered the chamber. Council Prime Rikstal made a decision. "We will arrange a formal diplomatic mission, but this time we will approach humanity as equals, not as primitives needing protection. Ambassador Jacquera, you will lead this mission. Select a team of our finest diplomats, scientists, and cultural specialists. Learn everything you can about humanity, and find out what they truly want from the galaxy." 2 months later, a much larger Velnari vessel approached Earth. This time they brought representatives from 12 different council species, along with scientists, cultural experts, and even some artists. If humanity wanted cultural exchange, the Council would provide it. The meeting location had been chosen carefully: the International Space Station, humanity's orbiting habitat. The Council delegation had reviewed the specifications and been horrified to learn it was pressurized with pure oxygen at standard Earth atmospheric pressure, bathed in unfiltered radiation from the sun, and maintained only 0.9 gravity. "It's a death trap," the Paltharian scientist had declared. "It's their idea of a comfortable space station," Jacquera had replied. Now, as she floated through the docking tube in her protective suit, Jacquera tried to calm her racing hearts. The tube connected to the ISS, and a door slid open. Beyond it, 3 humans waited. Secretary General Chen was there, now wearing a practical blue jumpsuit instead of formal attire. Next to her stood a tall human male with dark skin and kind eyes. introduced as Dr. James Okoye, a physicist. The third was a shorter female with grey hair, Dr. Maria Santos, a biologist. "Welcome to the ISS," Chen said warmly. "We've prepared a section with your required atmospheric mixture. Please come in." The council delegation floated into the station, trying not to show their nervousness. Everything was wrong. The walls were thin. The radiation levels were insane. And the humans moved through it all without protection, smiling and talking as if they were in a perfectly safe environment. "We're honored by your visit," Chen continued as they moved toward a conference module. "We have a lot to discuss." "Indeed," Chikara agreed. "Secretary General, the Council has authorized me to offer humanity a formal exchange program. We would like to share our scientific knowledge, our cultural achievements, our technological advances." "That's very generous," Chen said. "What would you like in return?" "Simply the opportunity to learn about humanity. To understand your species better." Chen smiled. "That seems fair." "Dr. Okoye, would you like to start?" The physicist activated a holographic display that made the council scientists lean forward with interest. "We've been studying your faster-than-light technology since your initial contact. It's fascinating. You've found a way to fold space using exotic matter. Very elegant." The Velnari head scientist, Tixral, colors shifted to pleased purples. "Thank you. It took our civilization 3,000 cycles to develop that technology. We've been working on it for about 50 years, Okoye said casually. Stunned silence. 50 years? Tixral's colors went pale. "But how?" "Pfft, desperation mostly," Okoye admitted. "Once we confirmed we weren't alone in the universe, we became obsessed with developing FTL. We knew we were behind. We threw everything we had at the problem." 50 years, Tixral repeated, sounding shaken. "We had the theoretical framework for 500 cycles before we successfully implemented it." "Well, we might have taken some shortcuts," Okoye said. "Our first test pilot described the experience as aggressively unpleasant. We've since refined it." "Aggressively unpleasant?" Chikara asked. The initial spatial folding caused severe nausea, temporary blindness, and what she described as feeling like her skeleton was trying to exit her body in all directions simultaneously. Every council member recoiled in horror. "And you still did it?" the Quentari delegate asked. "Of course." Okoye seemed confused by the question. "The theory was sound. We just needed to adjust the transition smoothness. Took a few more years, but now it's barely noticeable." Dr. Santos spoke up. "We have similar stories in biological research. Barry Marshall intentionally infected himself with bacteria to prove they caused ulcers. Dr. Dubbins-Firth drank vomit from yellow fever patients to test if it was contagious. He drank what? The Peltharian looked like they might faint. Vomit from diseased patients. For science." Santos said it as if this was perfectly reasonable behavior. Why would anyone do that? Zakara's colors had gone ashen. "To prove a hypothesis," Santos explained. "We couldn't test on unwilling subjects, so researchers often experimented on themselves. It's considered noble in our culture." "Noble?" The Kresh delegate's mandibles hung open. "It's suicidal." "Sometimes," Santos agreed cheerfully. "But that's how science advances. Someone has to take the first risk." Chan stepped in smoothly. "Perhaps we should discuss cultural matters. Ambassador Jokara, your report mentioned that the Council has maintained peace for 6,000 cycles." "That's remarkable. Thank you," Jakara said, grateful for the topic change. "The Council is very proud of our peaceful coexistence." "How did you achieve it?" "Through careful diplomacy, mutual defense pacts, and economic interdependence. No member species has any reason to fight because we all benefit from cooperation." "And before that, what ended the wars?" Shikara hesitated. "The last major conflict was the Kresh-Peltharian War, approximately 6,000 cycles ago. It was devastating. Billions died. Entire planets were rendered uninhabitable. The aftermath was so horrible that all surviving species agreed to form the Council and ban warfare forever." "How long did that war last?" Chen asked. 43 cycles. Chen converted the time in her head. "About 86 of our years?" "Yes. And in that entire war, billions died across multiple planets." Chen exchanged glances with the other humans. "Secretary General, Dr. Okoye said quietly, Should we tell them? They should know, Chen replied. She turned to the council delegation. Ambassador, humanity has a concept called the World Wars. The first one lasted 4 years. 9 million soldiers died, along with 7 million civilians. That was just one war, on one planet, with primitive technology. That's terrible, Zakara said, her colors showing sympathy, but understandable for a young species. You've moved past that violence now. The Second World War started 21 years later, Chen continued. It lasted 6 years. 70 to 85 million people died. We used weapons that could destroy entire cities in seconds. That's not possible, Tixral whispered. No species could survive that level of destruction. We almost didn't, Chen said softly. But we did, and we learned. We created the United Nations specifically to prevent it from happening again. We've had regional conflicts since then, but never another world war.
We're working on it.
Working on it? Zakara felt faint. You're still fighting? Not as much, and we're getting better. Chen's expression was sincere. Ambassador, I tell you this not to frighten you, but to be honest. Humanity is violent. We evolved as predators. We spent millions of years competing for survival. We're good at fighting because we had to be. But we're also good at cooperation, at building, at creating. We're trying to be better than our nature. Your nature is violence, the Kresh delegate said. Part of it, yes, Chen admitted. But not all of it. We also have art, music, literature, philosophy. We have compassion. We have love. We're complicated. Dr. Santos pulled up another display. Let me show you something. The image showed a human child, maybe 6 or 7 years old, hugging a massive furry creature with teeth the size of knives. That's a dog, Santos explained. Specifically, a breed we created from wolves. Wolves are pack predators that can hunt prey much larger than themselves. Extremely dangerous. Humans domesticated them approximately 15,000 years ago. Now we keep them in our homes as companions and friends. You domesticated an apex predator? The Peltharian asked. We domesticated lots of apex predators, and herbivores, and birds, and fish. We have a whole concept called pets, animals we keep purely for companionship. But why? Because we got lonely, Santos said simply. We're social creatures. We form bonds easily, even with species that should be our enemies. Zakara's colors shifted through patterns of realization. You're not afraid of other species. Should we be? Chen asked. Every other species in the Council maintains careful protocols when encountering new life. We assess threat levels, establish defensive measures, create quarantine procedures. You humans just make friends? Pretty much, Okoye confirmed. We figure most species are probably just as confused and scared as we are. Might as well try to get along. But what if they're hostile? Then we defend ourselves, Chen said, but we try friendship first. It usually works better. Council Prime Riksdal, who'd been silent throughout the exchange, finally spoke. Secretary General Chen, I must ask a difficult question. If humanity is as you describe, violent, dangerous, resilient, why have you not tried to conquer other species? Why accept the Council's contact peacefully? Because we don't want to conquer anyone. We want to learn, to explore, to find our place in the universe. Conquest is exhausting and pointless. Cooperation is much more interesting. But you could, Riksdal pressed. Couldn't you? Probably, Chen admitted. We're good at fighting, but we're trying to be better than that. The question isn't what we could do, Council Prime. It's what we choose to do. The Council delegation sat in stunned silence, each of them recalculating everything they thought they knew about humanity. Finally, Zakara spoke. What do you want from the galaxy, Secretary General Chen? Chen smiled. Friends, knowledge, new experiences. A chance to prove that even a species from a death world can choose peace. She paused. And maybe, if you'll let us, we'd like to help protect the Council. Protect us? Zakara's colors went confused. From what? From whatever might be out there that you haven't encountered yet. You've had peace for 6,000 cycles. That's wonderful, but the galaxy is vast. There might be threats you haven't faced, species who don't value peace like you do. And if that day comes,
Wouldn't you want someone who's good at fighting on your side? Council Prime Riksdal's crystalline form pulsed with something that might have been laughter. Ambassador Jakara, I believe we've been looking at this situation entirely backwards. How so, Council Prime? We came to protect humanity, but perhaps humanity came to protect us. Not because of any threat, but because humans kept doing things that should have been impossible. They visited other council worlds without environment suits, claiming the different gravity and atmosphere were a bit uncomfortable but manageable. They volunteered for dangerous repair work on space stations, casually working in vacuum conditions that would kill most species. They even started a trend among young council members called extreme human watching, where people would view recordings of humans doing everyday activities like eating spicy foods, running marathons, or swimming in oceans. They do this voluntarily became a common phrase, usually said with disbelief. Ambassador Jankara had established a permanent diplomatic post on Earth, living in a specially constructed habitat that maintained her preferred environment. She had grown fond of humanity, despite their terrifying nature, or perhaps because of it. She was reviewing reports when her communication panel chimed urgently. Council Prime Riksdal's face appeared. Ambassador, we have a situation. I need you to contact Secretary General Chen immediately. Zakara's colors shifted to concerned orange. What's happened? The automated listening post at Sector 749 has detected unusual energy signatures, large scale, moving fast, heading toward council space. Pirates? Unknown, but the signatures don't match any known council technology. We're sending science vessels to investigate, but they won't arrive for another 48 hours. I want humanity's opinion. Why? They've only been in space for a few months. Because they think differently than we do. Please, Ambassador. 20 minutes later, Jakara sat in Secretary General Chen's office with Dr. Okoye and a new human she hadn't met before, Admiral Lisa Martinez, head of Earth's newly formed Space Defense Initiative. Show them the data, Chen said. Kara projected the holographic readouts. These are the energy signatures. We don't recognize the pattern. The movement is deliberate, following a course that will intercept council space in approximately 12 standard cycles. Admiral Martinez leaned forward, studying the data with sharp eyes. How many ships? We estimate between 15 and 20 vessels based on the energy output. What's the council's military response plan? Martinez asked. Jacara's colors went embarrassed. We don't have one. The council hasn't needed military forces for 6,000 cycles. We have police ships for internal security, but nothing designed for combat. Nothing? Martinez looked shocked. No defense fleet? No weapons platforms? No orbital defenses around your planets? We haven't needed them. The Admiral exchanged glances with Chen. Ma'am, with your permission? Chen nodded. Earth would like to offer assistance. We couldn't ask you to risk your species for us, Jakara protested. You're not asking. We're volunteering. Chen leaned forward. Ambassador, we've been part of the council for 6 months. In that time, we've made friends, learned incredible things, and been welcomed into a galactic community. If that community is threatened, we want to help. But you don't even know what these ships are? They could be traders, explorers. There might not even be a threat. Then we'll make new friends. Dr. Okoye said with a smile. But if they are hostile, you'll want someone there who knows how to handle that situation. Zakara's colors swirled with uncertainty. I need to consult with the Council Prime. The emergency session happened within hours. Council Prime Riksdal listened to us offer with what seemed like relief. We accept humanity's assistance, but only as advisors and observers. We won't ask them to fight our battles. Council Prime, Jakara said carefully, I don't think you can stop them. She was right. Within 36 hours, 3 human vessels emerged from FTL at Sector 749. They were smaller than Council science ships, but moved with predatory grace. The Council observers who accompanied them reported feeling distinctly nervous. Admiral Martinez commanded the lead ship, the UNSS Endeavour. With her were the UNSS Defiant and UNSS Resolution. Each ship carried a crew of 40 humans and the most advanced weapons Earth could build, which the Council scientists had learned meant technology adapted from Earth's violent history. Railguns that could launch projectiles at fractions of light speed. Missile systems borrowed from submarine warfare. Point defense lasers designed to shoot down incoming threats.
and something humans called nuclear weapons, which the Council had begged them never to use unless absolutely necessary. Approaching the coordinates now, Martinez reported. Sensors are picking up the energy signatures. Definitely artificial. Definitely big. On the Council monitoring station, Zucara watched the feed, with 3 of her hearts racing. Council Prime Rixtel stood beside her, his crystalline form pulsing with anxiety. "Whatever happens," he said quietly, "we should not have allowed them to come." "Try telling a human not to help someone in need," Zucara replied. "They don't know how." The view screen showed empty space, then suddenly lit up with massive ships emerging from FTL. They were enormous, easily dwarfing the human vessels. Dark hulls covered with angular armor, weapon ports bristling along their flanks. Martinez's voice came through the channel, calm and professional. "Endeavor to Council Station, we count 18 vessels, unknown design, weapons armed. They're scanning us. Are they hostile?" Rixtel asked. "Unknown. We're hailing them on all frequencies." 10 seconds passed. Then a response came through, translated by the Council's communication systems. "Attention primitive vessels. You are in territory claimed by the Dravok Imperium. Withdraw immediately or be destroyed." The Council chamber erupted in panic. "The Dravok? They're supposed to be extinct. They were driven to the edge of the galaxy 3,000 cycles ago. They've been building strength all this time." Zucara felt her colors drain to ash gray. The Dravok were the species that had caused the last Great War. They believed in conquest through strength, expanding their empire by subjugating weaker species. The Council's combined forces had barely managed to drive them away, at terrible cost. And now they were back. On the view screen, Admiral Martinez was responding. "This is Admiral Lisa Martinez of Earth, representing the Galactic Council. This space is home to 47 peaceful species. We ask you to respect their sovereignty." The Dravok response was harsh laughter. 47 prey species, you mean? "We have analyzed your vessels. Primitive FTL. Weak hulls. No significant weapons. You will make excellent servants once we conquer your worlds." Martinez's voice remained perfectly calm. "That would be a mistake. You dare threaten us? Your ships are insects compared to our fleet." "I'm not threatening. I'm warning. Withdraw peacefully, or we will force you to withdraw." More Dravaka laughter. "Your 3 tiny ships against our armada? Your bravery is admirable but stupid. We will destroy you, then move on to your council worlds. They will fall within cycles." Shh! Kara watched in horror as the Dravok ships began powering weapons. "Admiral Martinez, you must retreat. Those ships will destroy you!" "Negative, Ambassador. We're here to protect the Council." Martinez switched to a private channel with her other ships. "Defiant, Resolution, Spread Formation, Delta. Target their command ship first. Weapons free." "Admiral, no!" Zucara cried, but it was too late. The Dravok fired first. Massive energy beams lancing across space. The human ships dodged with impossible agility, moving in ways that should have torn their hulls apart from the G-forces. They returned fire with railguns, the projectiles moving so fast they were almost invisible. What happened next would be discussed in council chambers for generations. The first railgun strike hit the Dravok command ship's forward shield and punched straight through it. The projectile, a simple piece of metal accelerated to incredible speeds, tore through the hull like paper. Secondary explosions rippled across the ship's surface. "Impossible!" the Dravok commander screamed. "Our shields are impenetrable." "Your shields are designed for energy weapons," Martinez replied calmly. "We use kinetic projectiles. Physics is a harsh teacher." The Dravok fleet opened full fire, dozens of energy beams converging on the human ships. But the humans kept dodging, their vessels pulling maneuvers that made the council observers physically ill from just watching. They rolled, spun, accelerated at rates that should have liquefied their crews. "How are they not dead?" Rixtal whispered. "Their bodies can withstand high gird forces," Zucara said faintly. "Remember, they evolved on a high-gravity world." The battle was brutal and one-sided. The Dravok had numbers and size. The humans had speed, agility, and weapons designed to kill other humans. Railguns tore through shields. Missiles weaved through point defenses. Nuclear weapons, previously dismissed as primitive, detonated with devastating effect. Within 20 minutes, 3 Dravok ships were destroyed, 5 more were crippled, and the rest were retreating. This is Admiral Martinez to Dravok Fleet. Stand down or we continue firing. You are not Council species, the Dravok commander sputtered. You fight like demons. We're humans from Earth. And we're the newest Council members. Martinez's voice turned cold. Now you have a choice. Withdraw from Council space and never return, or we hunt down every ship you have. What's it going to be? Then we withdraw. But this is not over, humans. Yes, it is, Martinez said firmly. Because if you come back, we won't just defend the Council. We'll come for you. We'll find your worlds, your bases, your empire, and we'll end it permanently. Do you understand? More silence. Do you understand? Martinez repeated. Yes, came the bitter reply. The Dravok fleet jumped to FDL, leaving their damaged ships behind. The human vessels remained in formation, weapons still hot, watching until the last signature disappeared. Then Martinez opened a channel to the Council station. Council Prime Rickstahl, Admiral Martinez reporting. The threat has been neutralized. No Council worlds were harmed. Minimal damage to our vessels. Ready to return to normal patrol. In the Council chamber, nobody spoke for a long moment. Finally, Rickstahl found his voice. Admiral, how did you know they would retreat? Because they're bullies, Martinez explained. They're used to fighting prey. Once they realized we could hurt them, they ran. It's typical predator behavior when they meet an equal or superior force. You destroyed 3 of their ships and crippled 5 more in 20 minutes. Though I should note, our weapons weren't designed for space combat. They were designed for fighting each other. These were adapted from terrestrial weapon systems. We can do much better with proper time and resources. Jakar's colors had gone completely white. Admiral Martinez, you just saved the entire Council, 47 species, trillions of lives. We're Council members now, Ambassador. That's what members do. We protect each other. Martinez paused. Oh, though I have a recommendation for the Council Prime. What is it? Rickstahl asked. Start building defenses. The galaxy is a dangerous place. We got lucky this time. The Dravok were overconfident, and we caught them by surprise. But there might be other threats out there. Species who won't retreat. You need to be ready. We don't know how to build weapons, Rickstahl admitted. We've been peaceful for so long. Then let us help. Earth can train defense forces. We can design security systems. We can teach tactics and strategy. Martinez's voice softened. Council Prime, you built something beautiful. 6,000 cycles of peace. Let us help you protect it. Rickstahl's crystalline form pulsed with what might have been emotion. Why? Why would you help us like this? Because you invited us to join something special. A community of species working together. Peace instead of war. Knowledge instead of conquest. That's worth protecting. And honestly, Martinez chuckled. We're good at this. It's nice to use our skills for defense instead of aggression. 3 months later, Ambassador Jakara stood in the Council chamber watching Secretary General Chen address the full assembly. The Galactic Defense Initiative is voluntary, Chen explained. No species is required to participate. But for those who want to learn defensive tactics, Earth offers training. We'll teach you about threat assessment, strategic planning, and defensive technologies, not to make you warriors, but to ensure you're never helpless again. 15 species immediately volunteered. More followed in the weeks after. Earth became known not as the Death World species, but as the Guardians. The ones who chose to use their violent nature to protect peace rather than destroy it. And when asked why they did it, humans always gave the same answer. Because someone offered to protect us once, even though we didn't need it. Now we're returning the favor. Kara often thought about that first contact when she'd offered to defend Earth and they'd asked, from what? She understood now. Humans didn't need defending from the galaxy. The galaxy needed defending from what humans had learned to fight. Violence, aggression, and the darkness that lurks in the void. And humanity, the apex predators who had learned to choose peace, were exactly the right species to stand guard. In the Council chamber, a new statue was erected. It showed a human in a protective stance, arms spread wide, with the inscription, Those who know war best are often most committed to peace. Jacara's colors shifted to content blues every time she saw it. The Council had tried to protect the Deathworlders. Instead, the Deathworlders had protected them, and somehow, that was exactly how it should be.